Welcome to our second episode of our new series, Little Terrors.
These episodes will be bite-sized, focusing on a hyper-specific topic, a single TV episode, or other Halloween or horror-themed mini discussions.
And for our second Little Terror, we will be discussing what the internet says is the scariest episode of the 90s children's horror TV show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Titled, The Tale of the Dead Man's Float.
That was such a mouthful. I'm rasping from
I
you
made
having
it
to
through.
say all that. That was incredible.
I read your notes before I watched it, and I was like, the scariest episode, and I was like, oh no, am I about to get actually scared by a children's TV show? And
No. Were
no.
you? Okay.
No.
I was like, yeah, you texted me that you were concerned. And yeah, let's keep some perspective here. It still is a children's TV show. If you think of it through the lens of a child, scary for sure. I actually could not watch this show. I have a memory. We'll cover this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark in the future, but I have a memory, and I've discovered which episode it is that traumatized me. You know, those scenes that just the Tremors Boardwalk one was one.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene that I just remember trying to watch an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark. And all I could remember about it was that it was about your biggest fears. And there was a part with a knife, swinging, or some sort of sharp thing, pendulum swinging and getting closer. And that's all I could remember. But it was in my psyche forever. And then I found the episode and I watched it. And guess who was starring in it?
Oh my gosh, who?
Neve Campbell.
Well, if that isn't perfect.
Right? It was a good episode. And it was a really silly name. It was The Tale of the Dangerous Soup. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a classic.
It's good. That's probably the next Are You Afraid of the Dark episode we'll do. But for today, we picked the episode that, according to the internet, is the scariest episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark all time. Of all time. For those who want to watch first or watch along with us, this episode is Season 5, Episode 1, and all episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark are streaming on Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus. Now, I could not find this episode on Paramount Plus. Could you find it
on Paramount Plus, it was Season 5, Episode 5.
Okay.
But on IMDb, it's Season 5, Episode 1.
Okay. Well, that's good intel for the people, because I ended up just watching some bootleg YouTube thing because I couldn't find it. I was like, this is...
I mean, who has Paramount Plus besides me? And that was for one specific show, and I just haven't canceled it.
Well, it worked out for this.
It
Glad
did.
you find it. So this episode first aired on October 7th, 1995, and is rated 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Here is the episode description. Zeke and Clarice find an abandoned swimming pool at their school where a secret is contained. Clarice. You think that was chlorine?
That is all I could think of the whole time.
Yeah.
Totally.
She was a swim girl. She was obsessed with the pool.
She was.
I've never heard the name Clarice. Chlor, C-L-O.
Clarice, for sure.
Absolutely. Clarice.
It's they were okay, horror movie homage, so we're going to do Clarice, but chlorine.
Because she likes to swim in heavily chlorinated swimming pools at schools. Okay, so we chose this because, according to the internet, this is the most terrifying episode of what is a kids show, for sure. I think it's rated Y7 or something. Sarah, as a 90s kid, had you seen this episode? Do you remember any episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Did you not watch the show at all? What is your Are You Afraid of the Dark stance?
I'm sure I watched it. I don't remember a single episode, but I was your friend, so I must have.
Okay, but I don't think so. If someone had asked me, what TV shows do you like? I would have been Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps. But if people were pushed it and were what's your favorite episode? I would have been oh, I don't know, the one with the dog. Because I was too scared to watch most of them. Are You Afraid of the Dark really freaked me out. Even the intro freaked me out. And then I think by the time I got past my scaredy cat phase, like really liking scary things but being like really scared of them. I think it felt too like we were too old for it. So I really have only watched some episodes more now as an adult, and I do find them really nostalgic, and some of them like are pretty creepy. I wouldn't say that like I'm scared of them, but they're creepy for sure.
This one definitely was. Like I watched this as a child, I would have been scarred by it, hands
Yeah,
down.
yeah. I
This
think
is
that's why people on
not
the
children's
internet talk about
material.
it. No, because it's a lot of the episodes were like that. They definitely pushed a boundary where there were very horrifying elements. They just didn't include violence or like that kind of horror, but like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
really disturbing effects, a lot of really scary imagery, a lot of like tension, and even like death. A lot of
Yeah.
times in multiple episodes, children just die, and of course it's like off screen. Sometimes it's just implied, but other times there'll be just full on episodes about a child who drowned, and this was one of them.
I mean, it's high stakes with the
Yes.
actual deaths. And I get it that like they're telling stories, but these are some grown up stories, and the
Yeah,
monster was like actually scary in this.
for sure, for sure. So let's talk about just the vibes a little bit more of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now, I personally love the bookend style. I always wanted to be a member of the Midnight Society. I like how the episodes start with friends around a campfire and they have their whole routine of each person is in like a rotation of coming up with a story and then telling that story around the campfire. I love how they always say the tale of. Obviously, I love it because I use it for our paranormal segment. Um, and the little throwing the stuff on the fire that makes it go whoosh. I don't know what it's
Yes.
called, but it's so fun. I am a big fan of like bookend style storytelling where you have like an intro and an outro and then just like a fun little story. And I also like how that gives us the ability, like even though it's more of like a serial type show with each of like the meat of the episode being different characters and actors and stuff, like we still have a little bit of attachment to like kind of the friends. We all probably had like our favorite person in the Midnight Society. I don't know if I did. I'm sure I did. It probably was like if there's a girl who's like a tomboy, it probably was that one.
Well, I will admit to almost going on to watch the next episode to find out what happens with this
Yes.
poor boy who does not know how to take care of himself and is not liked by the other members. I mean, but like fair, he like ate something out of somebody's shoe. He was really a weird dude. But like now
Yeah.
I need to know what's going to happen next. If they're going to let him in, are they going to make him shower first? Are they going to bully him or not bully him? Like I'm a little
You're
invested
a little
now.
bit invested. It's so true. There's some shows where I'm like, "Yeah, you just really know what you're doing, like how to hook us and keep us coming
Yeah.
back for more." We are gonna come back for more anyway, but now we're like really want to see it. Even at age
Yes.
35, we're like, okay, I gotta know.
Yeah, I have different feelings about that poor kid now because now I'm like, oh, what's going on at home, buddy? But
Yeah, yeah. Like, should we do a wellness check instead
yeah,
of just like being like, but
maybe.
the Midnight Society will make your life
Yeah,
better. But anyway, good story coming in to, to the episode. I'm sure
absolutely. Well
we
done.
yeah, so what do you think of this episode? So you said did it scare you? It didn't really scare you, but you thought it had scary elements.
Yes, it did not scare me as an adult in her mid 30s. It would have terrified me as a child. And I
Uh,
mean, overall, it could have been so much like kitschier than it was.
yeah.
Like they kind of did a good job. The setup's a little flimsy, but once you take away the bookends, you got 15 minutes to tell the story.
Right. That's so true. I agree. Something about this show that I think is really surprising is that they don't do those like kitschy over the top campy kind of elements. It's like a little bit of a slow burn for it being like a 15-minute episode, and then it's like high action, a nice little resolution, and then we end. But I like how they added in some details. There's a trope in this episode that I really love, and it's the abandoned places trope. I love that. So
Hmm.
when he moves the lockers and then they uncover the abandoned pool, how cool and creepy would that be if you found that in your high school?
That is so cool. We didn't have any pool at our high school, but
Yeah.
also, so where I went to grad school, LSU, there was an abandoned pool. It wasn't a secret abandoned pool. Everybody knew about it. It's got like a
Yeah.
lot of backstory, but it was like really cool to see it. And also was, by the way, where they filmed a scene from Pitch Perfect. If you remember
Oh, were
that
they
movie,
doing
you
like the
remember?
riff off?
Yeah, that's the abandoned pool on
Oh.
LSU's campus.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
abandoned places. They're so
Me
like
too.
sad and beautiful. Just
It's
I
like one
like
of my
them.
favorite things to find scrolling through the algorithm are the videos of people like exploring abandoned places.
Yes.
And they can be places abandoned 100 years ago or like an office building abandoned 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
I find it all fascinating.
I know. It's so weird. I wonder why. Why? I
Good
totally agree though.
question. Good
Oh,
question.
well, we have some abandoned tourism in our future for sure.
Yes.
So, other things that I saw complimented about this episode were the underwater killer POV shots and that they were similar to Jaws. So obviously, this is just on the same playing field, but that there is like a degree of creative film work in these episodes, and it was a cool shot. I mean, to have an underwater shot in like you said, a 15-minute kid show was pretty cool. And at that point, we didn't know who the killer was. Well, yeah, I guess he was a killer because he killed a child at the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode, which is really disturbing. Um, but what did you think when you first saw this monster come out of the pool?
So he actually reminded me a lot of Vecna from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
Like
I didn't think
total
of
Vecna
that.
vibes. And Vecna is terrifying.
That is so. He reminded me of something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And yeah, it's totally Vecna. The
Yeah.
coloring, just ugh.
Uh-huh. He's
Yeah.
just chlorinated Vecna.
I was trying to think of like a Clarice version of like Chlorvecna.
I also love that
Not
we
quite as good.
don't get a backstory for the monster.
No, we did, didn't we? It was something they said in like a sentence when we find out that the janitor is the original lifeguard at the
Yeah.
pool. He says something like, "Oh, when they built the school, they built it
Oh, it was
on a
you're right.
cemetery."
It was an Indian
Yeah,
burial ground or some kind of burial
some sort. I think they
ground.
just said
You're right.
cemetery, so it was a
Just
little
a
bit
trope.
more
Yeah.
politically correct, a little less racist. I think I don't
You are
remember them
right.
saying ancient
Hmm.
Indian burial ground. I think this was a cemetery, and they either didn't move the bodies or forgot this guy's body, and then he just was all mad and it's like, I'm just gonna haunt this pool, which is like
Just the
really a
pool.
creative and terrifying way to haunt people. You can see how this traumatized kids. Like we all had that moment, like when you're in the pool and it's dark and you can't see even if it's a pool, you still are like, well, what if something's in there? And if you had saw like this episode and then you're just imagining that guy just like about to pull you under the water, that's scary shit.
Well, and one of the cool things about it is like the main character, who's Zeke. He like has this fear that so many of us have, which is he's like afraid of the water. He's
Yeah,
afraid of the water because he had a traumatizing experience, but it was like super relatable even as an adult to like that feeling of not knowing what's underneath.
totally. And then of course, okay, so this leads me to my final question for you, which is this episode just Friday the 13th for kids? So I'm gonna give you my rundown of why I think this first, and then you can give me your opinion. So this kid, Zeke, first of all, goes to this pool, gets in a float, has not like gone in the water since this traumatizing experience, and then just like for a girl, of course, is gonna do
Naturally.
whatever it takes. And this is like the kind of overarching theme of this entire episode is just like kids canoodling, which of course in a kid show is just like kissing and flirting, but basically
Canoodling is right.
all of the trouble comes from the canoodling. So we're literally doing anything for our crush and love interest. Then we also did I have anything else besides that? Oh, also there's a deformed monster-like creature that lives in the water and then comes and grabs you. Okay, so like maybe my argument's a little bit flimsy, but
So I'm with you. I also felt like there's more to the Jaws tie-in than just the shot underwater of like the legs swimming. There's also like the they blow up the monster at the end. Like
yeah,
that's literally Jaws. Like the
yeah,
whole thing is water based. They're totally safe when they're out of the water. Like I thought it
true.
was very Jaws-esque. But then also I felt like there was a Final Destination element where because Zeke is talking about how he almost died because he got stuck in the lake, he almost drowned, and I forget exactly what he says, but he says basically like, and I always feel like I escaped that day and death is coming after me.
Whoa.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Whoa. You just ripped my theory in half and then presented two
I
way
mean,
better
this
ones.
came out before Final Destination. So,
So Final Destination was inspired by this.
yes. Yes.
Oh man. No, I like the Jaws theory though, that checks out. But I guess there's only so much you can do with like monster under the water in terms of
Yeah.
variety.
I
But this
think
is
it
a
could be
really
both.
original monster under the water.
That is very true.
I would watch a feature-length film, I think, about that guy. He should have been a franchise villain.
I agree. Yeah, also really respect that they were able to tell this whole story in like 15 to 20 minutes and I didn't feel like anything was missing.
No, they packed in like a lot. We haven't even really mentioned that Zeke is a science nerd and blew up the monster from his science knowledge. Like
Yep.
there's just yeah, they packed in a lot, a lot. But it was pretty
Yeah.
good. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed it.
And if I'm gonna watch something set in a high school, you just love a janitor trope. You
Yes, and this
love the
even
janitor to
subverted
be
it a little bit
involved.
because the janitor
Yeah.
saved them. Usually the janitor is just there to like scare you and be like a stand-in for the killer and then get killed off. But no,
Right.
he
Yeah.
like ended up being like having the whole story tie together and ended up helping to save them. So go
Yeah.
janitor, love it.
Loved him. He was great.
He was great.
Haunting past.
Yes. So all of them except for Clarice, but
That's true. Clarice is literally just there because she needed help with her chemistry homework
right,
and
right, right,
she's on the
right.
swim team.
And she's like, "Oh, you're scared of the water? Let me jump out of the water and scream at you." Ha ha ha. Jerk. Not a Clarice fan over here.
Well, neither were her parents when they named her that, so
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is the
yeah.
tough one.
Yeah. Any listeners out there named Clarice, I'm really sorry. If you prove
Yeah.
to me there are real people named that, I will completely change my opinion. But
Yeah, we will retract our statement, but also tell me what nickname you go by. Oh man. Tough, tough. I mean, we're Ashley and Sarah. We have the world's most boring names, so
yeah, or just real
who are we to
basic.
talk?
Real
Yeah.
basic.
All right, any other thoughts?
This was a lot of fun. I hope we return to Are You Afraid of the Dark for future Little Terror episodes. This was
I'm
great.
sure we will. I'm sure we will. We can't stay away from kids' Halloween content. That's kind of kind of a whole part of our thing here.
It's true. It's the vibe.
That is
All right. So what are we going to talk about next week?
Sarah, next week we are talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, Monster Squad. And for paranormal pairing, I will be telling you the tale of the Estonia werewolf trials, I think. I actually haven't really sussed that out to see if it's a good story yet, but it sounded like an interesting title, so that's where we're at.
I can't wait. Also, I've been to Estonia and I loved it, so I
Whoa.
insist.
Okay, I will do it for you then.
Thank you.
All right, see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of Haunted Homebodies. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And remember, when in doubt, just stay home.